So DOD, releases a hey, this is what we did for recruiting. This is what we got in. This is what we didn't get in. I'm gonna try to blow this up a little bit. Let me know. Does that look a little bit better on your screen to see?
Yep.
Okay, good. Cool. So here we go. So again, like I said earlier, 2024's numbers won't come out till 2025, obviously. So this is the last numbers that we have, which is basically it's October of 23 was the end of the year for DOD recruiting wise. So these numbers represent that. But if you look here though, holy moly, man, like that's a lot of numbers that we did not attain that we wanted that we're not getting now. You know what I mean?
You say holy moly.
Well, I could say other words, but that's, that came to mind, man. You know what
holy
I'm saying?
moly, holy, yeah, that's right.
I'd say holy fucking shit, and this is ridiculous, but that's just me. Sorry.
Ridiculous right there. Like, look at that.
Yeah, so Army, look at that. 15,000 short of his goal. That is shoot, man. That's Fort Bliss.
So was 65 a too high of a goal? I mean, obviously, but I mean, why are they so off? You know what I'm saying? Like that makes me wonder. Like, is the Army just reaching too high in hopes that in preparation for a war, or are we just recruiting based off of population and jobs and like what's the purpose? You know what I mean? That's what I want to get behind. Like
I know when I was recruiting, and this is back in 05, 06, 07. Yeah, back in Nam. It was based on, you have to recruit, what you're going to get in, how many you're going to tread out of basic training that are going to make it, right? Then your ones that are going to get in, how long are they going to do? 2 years, 3 years? And they always had these numbers. How many would join? How many would graduate training? How many would go to their first base, stay there for the whole time, not get kicked out? Then how many people are going to ETS out? How many people are going to retire? How many of these new jobs are we going to have to fulfill?
It's a smart guess based off of.
Yes, it's all based on numbers, at least for the Army. I can't speak for anybody else, but the Army, yes, was always based on, we always had our number data. Where I recruited at, our stations that we had, we knew how many we had to put in for our station because they would go over our history of, hey, the last 10 years, this station put in this many to get this, did this many phone calls to get this many appointments, to get this many people to join, to get this many people to actually go to training. So I would assume, it's still the same way. I couldn't see him changing it, right? I think they've fallen back so far, based on what we just looked at, what some of the reasons why people don't want to join, right? I think another one is if you look at the political theater we see right now with everything that's kind of going on in other countries, Israel and Ukraine and all this other stuff. I wonder if people...
Not to cut you off, but how does that differ for the Marines and the Space Force? They're looking pretty good.
So their numbers are much, much smaller. I mean, look at the Space Force, 492. And I think also, my personal opinion, the Marine Corps has got a, what do you call it? They have recruited the same way for as long as I can remember. You know what I mean? Like the uniforms, the commercials, or hey, it's like when you go to McDonald's, you're going to get a burger and a fry. Like you're not getting anything else.
They haven't changed their MO since the very beginning. They've had the same script, the same reasons, and that's the reason we'll never probably change. For no matter how society and technology changes, we'll probably all have the same need for that type of protection. But
absolutely. So I think that is Space Force is new, but Space Force is, I mean, if you look at the kids now, like computers and space stuff is the, technology is the hotness, and also I would say the Space Force, like we're talking off the screen, I wonder how many are actually joining, because a lot of them are coming from the Air Force and the Army.
Yeah, they're pulling them out. They're working side by side. They're people who we've worked side by side with who now changed patches.
Because I was gonna say the Space Force and Army always had Space Force people. It just wasn't called the Space Force. So
they just took an MOS and moved it into the Space Force and removed it from the regular Air Force, or removed it from the Air Force.
You think that's what's affecting the Air Force numbers for them? Because they always normally do really good for recruiting, man, and it's kind of surprising to see them down.
I'd have to look into it. I don't know the numbers specifically to each MOS that was moved or AFSC that was moved out.
Yeah.
But I would imagine it has some kind of impact. If you're pulling an entire career field out of the Air Force that wasn't expected to be pulled out, and now your numbers are going to get a little fudged, unless you know, I'm just dumb and that was already thought of
Yeah.
all the way at the very top, and they foresaw this and they prepared for it, you know, and it wasn't
We know
just
that's a lie.
it wasn't just a decision done in the vacuum, you know, or
So,
made
you
in
know
the
that's a
vacuum.
lie though. It always happens in military. There's no real
Yeah,
thought process. It just happens.
yeah, I would hope.
Yeah, and then if you look down, you know, so we have active duty. You know what concerns me is the reserve component. Those are some really, really crazy numbers of like how low it is. Because normally, that's when I was a recruiter, I was an easy sell because hey, you don't have to leave. You know, you can go do your training, come back. You do one training once a month, and you're still home with your family. You're going to college. You're kind of living a civilian life, you know. And to see these numbers kind of down is I think is an attributes to kind of what we looked at on the previous slide about some of the worries and stuff like that, you know. I don't know what you think about that, but I think that's, you know, that's a big one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, for
Because
sure.
in time in Iraq and that, I mean, God, there were so many National Guard units that were, you know, called up to go do things. And like even like our aviation, all of our aviation is National Guard. There's only a few that are actual active duty. The rest are National Guard units that do aviation, you know?
Yeah, when I was supporting KC-135s in the tanker community doing air refuels, a majority of the folks that were rotating in and out were National Guard guys, you know, doing the job, you know, supporting their state.
Yeah, all of our all my deployments flying on C-17s or C-130s were all guards, because we always looked at the state because they always had their state, you know,
Yep.
painted on the bird.
Yep, that'd be the
And I was
cool
like,
thing.
oh man, they're from Florida. That's mine. Yeah, you know. And same thing with our chopper pilots, you know. And we didn't look at them any different on the battlefield, but it's, you know, that's why I'm like, man, these numbers are super low. You know, it's crazy, and the Army's getting rid of like 20,000 jobs right now, and it's because they can't fill them. They just cannot fill them, and they're like, well, obviously they have to play with numbers to make it look better for them, you know. But it's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy to see our military like this, you know, especially in today's day and age, man. It's just nuts with, like I said before, everything is going on in the world right now. It's,
Yeah,
you know, I know it's very crazy to think a possibility of another war, but man, like it just, you see all this, at least for veterans, you see all the stuff you see on TV and what's going on in other countries, man. It's like, gosh, it sure smells very familiar to me, you know? So
smells like we're going to war. Looks
yeah.
like we're going to war. Sounds like we're going to war. We're probably about to start some shit.
And that saying, walk like a duck, talk like a duck, it's a duck, you know? So it's like, man, you know, but yeah, so I think we'll stop it there. I just, you know, I think there was a good video to kind of show some of the numbers and what we were seeing. And, you know, we thought we'd share everybody, and, you know, let us know what you think, man, for any vets out there or somebody who's not a vet who might, you know, be thinking about joining. Let us know in the comments, like, would you join? Would you not join? What would be one of the reasons you join? You know, that kind of thing. What do you think, Axe?
Sure. Yeah, man. And video will be coming in the future. We're just working on some stuff, trying to make sure we got everything ironed out. And this commentary will be expanding and growing and growing and growing. So we appreciate the love, the support. And yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, everybody. Take it easy.
Peace.
Peace. All right. I'm going to keep it recording. Are you done or are you good still?
I'm straight. I'm just saying I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but
very, very lightly. So here, there's a political one I want to do. I want to show you first. Hey, actually, I'm going to stop the recording and start a new one so it can be completely different. Okay.
all right, let me go check on her.
All right. Bye.